Hi everyone, welcome back to the Gen Y Investor. Thanks again for tuning in. If you enjoy the video, please don't hesitate to give me a like and subscribe. So today we've got a very special guest. His name is Eythan, very high up in the accounting world, but he's also extremely good and stringent with his budgeting and savings goals. A very good friend of mine. He's a family man, has a lovely house, and somebody that I think we could all look up to and learn something from. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you did, once again, please don't hesitate to give us a like. Thanks, guys. All right, well, let's jump into it, mate. I won't take too much of your time. I know you're a busy man, always.
The first guest.
The first guest, yeah. I'm not going to have too many guests, but yeah, you're one I've always wanted to get on. So,
what's the feedback been from the first video?
Not bad, actually. Over 100 views, about
100.
15, 20 likes. So we're building to something.
Not bad for the first.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of reading over the past few days, looking at jumping on Reddit and that sort of stuff, upping my game a bit. So let's have a chat with you, I guess, about what your stocks are looking like, what your investing looks like, your property, that sort of thing, and maybe chat about some savings goals and try and help people out from that perspective. So I guess let's start with what your favorite current stock is that you hold.
I reckon we're both in this one, but definitely the Vanguard video gaming ETF. I think you might have got me into that one, but ESPO ticker code. But that's up about, I think it's about 7-8% since I got into that one. And like the stocks in it. I think that sort of space is only going to grow, and sort of, I think that ETF only started, I reckon, in September. So I think there's a lot of upside in the price.
Yeah, it's definitely looking good. Looking very good. It's up. I'm up about 9% on that one. So yeah, but you've repaid me.
I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, hopefully. You've repaid me well with that Mara and BLOK, the two crypto ones. That Mara's up. I think that Mara's up about 8% since you showed me it, and that block is up 22%. That ETF.
Yeah, they've been going all right. I've been looking at them potentially next sort of play.
Yeah. Oh, since I've been on, like, they were sort of rocketing before, but yes, 22% in a few weeks is great for that block ETF, especially for an ETF. Like, that's crazy numbers.
You'd think it'll only keep going up with sort of what it's holding.
Hopefully, that's what we've sort of talked on. So that leads into the next question. What do you think you're going to jump on next?
Jump on next. I reckon we've spoke about this one a little bit. I'm pretty bullish on it, but Baby Bunting, I reckon a lot of upside in that one.
Baby
pretty
Bunting,
relevant. Yeah. Pretty relevant at the moment. But no, I think it's sitting about $5.25, I think, at the moment. But I think you look at that market. Not that they've got a monopoly, but they've got a fair market share, and I think sort of with COVID and everything happening, that sort of demand for their products is probably going to go up. And I think they've had a pretty good sort of 12 months as well. So I've got to probably have a look at some of their more earnings a bit more and sink my teeth into it a bit. But liking that one. And I think we've spoken about this ETF a bit as well, but ASIA ETF as well. Probably keen to get into some of those stocks. And it's probably just a good sort of hedge to have it diversified across that ETF. So they're probably the two, I reckon.
Yeah, Hollis is on ASIA, and that's killed it for him. And yeah, Baby Bunting, funnily enough, that Andre Jick dude, he's got a really good channel. Have you watched any of his videos? Andre Jick, very good, like, with stocks and crypto. He makes like really good videos as well. He was talking about sort of the psychology of the names, and said he actually mentioned Baby Bunting yesterday, because I think the ticker code for it's Baby. And
BBN.
BBN, okay. Well, got the wrong stock. But yeah, anyway, back to my point. This is a bit of a sidetrack, but yeah, that, like, stocks with like cool ticker names apparently perform 13% better than the market return, just because they got a cool
look at
name.
ZitPay, Z1P.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them, like PZZA, like Pizza, and all that kind of stuff. There's just no backing behind, like, their revenue or anything like that. People just sort of buy into it because of the cool name, which is sort of a bit like the meme culture these days. It's very interesting. So I was keen to get your thoughts on that as well.
Are we talking Doge today, or?
we could touch on Doge, but
I
I
think
think it's
I
more
think that
about
needs to be a whole episode by itself. We've got to
the
be
Doge.
careful.
Yeah, I won't take up too much of your time, but yeah, it's more the cannabis stocks these days. That's what Wall Street Bets is on. So I've joined Wall Street Bets just recently, and yeah, they're all like trying to smash the prices up of the cannabis companies, which look, there's a bit of backing behind it. I guess a lot of the US states are, legalizing marijuana and stuff, but people are just sort of
Well, I think it's
buying.
only sort of growing in terms of states that are legalising it. So you'd
Yeah.
think there's a fair amount of upside in that space, but yeah, I don't know enough about it all.
Oh, the rate it's going up now is purely because of Wall Street Bets. So like 9 million people are just trying to, skyrocket the price. And it's quite interesting that that's sort of what the stock market's turned into a bit these days. First it was GameStop, then Dogecoin, now it's these cannabis stocks. Speaks more to me about the psychology of trading, like I said last week, rather than the actual fundamentals, because none of these kids are looking at it. None of these kids are looking at the market cap or the earnings or anything like that. They're just sort of buying what their mates tell them to buy.
And sort of when sort of Elon Musk can just tweet and then sort of prices are skyrocketing.
Yeah, he's king of the memes, Elon. But it's just interesting how it's sort of transforming a bit. I'm assuming that you're probably not going to be swayed too much by that at this stage. Sort of the, like I said, the meme stocks. You haven't bought into Doge?
A few $100s I've got in it. And that's a sort of high spec. And if it comes off, it comes off. But yeah, not losing any sleep over that one. But I wouldn't be going any further based on just sort of speculation with that one. I think with what I'm doing, it's more of having a bit of backing, underlying sort of performance behind it. Otherwise, it's just too risky for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. Sort of happy to play around with a little bit of money with the, speculative stocks, but long term, I want to pump the majority of the money into like ETFs, a bit more defensive.
What are you going to do like with your Doge? What's your exit strategy? Just let it run, or
I converted 100 of it. I mean, it's more than 100 of it, but I converted 100 of it to Bitcoin last night, and because that BlockFi gives you, if you deposit $50 of into Bitcoin on that BlockFi app, you get 250 free Bitcoin. So I should have 350 worth of Bitcoin within the next week or two. So I'm sort of just transferring it around at the moment. But yeah, I might hold the rest of the Doge for a little while. Haven't decided.
Yeah, sort of peg back a little bit, but I still think it's got another run in it. But who knows? Like, it's all speculative. Yeah.
It just depends what the flavor of the month is, like whether Wall Street Bets wants to get back on it or whether they want to like push the cannabis stocks and that sort of stuff. I think it's something to pump thousands and thousands of dollars into. That's for sure.
No, there's nothing behind it.
Yeah. No, it's quite interesting though how it's all turning out. But anyway, let's move on to sort of a bit more of the savings and sort of getting to the point where you can actually invest some money, because that's something that I've always respected about you, and I'm sure a lot of other people have, your ability to sort of save very well, live quite conservatively, but now you've got, really nice house, you've got other investments, so living quite well. So just keen to know what your best sort of life hack tip sort of thing would be to just tell, general people like us, 20s, even their 30s, to save.
About saving, right? I reckon you've probably got a few tips I might press you for in a minute.
A few. Mine are a bit more stingy, I guess.
Grocery stores.
Yeah, a few of the grocery store ones.
I don't know. I don't have a lot to add there. It's more so just sort of with what I do, I sort of know what I earn, know with sort of rental property, what it brings in, know my living costs, and then you know exactly sort of what you can be saving, and budgeting that way. I've just always sort of got a spreadsheet where I track it all. Based on what I earn, based on what I should be paying out, credit card each month. You're left over with this, and that's what you grow it, and then you do what you want with it, invest it, spend it, go on holiday, whatever you want. But I think you just got to be sort of stringent to it as well, and have a plan in place. But yeah, you just got to know sort of what you're earning, what you're spending, and then sort of what you can save to build it.
Yeah, so living within your means, I guess.
Yeah.
Just put it in a nutshell. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And you can take it as far as you want, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I don't go so far as to have the spreadsheets and all of that sort of gear, but I do budget.
No, but you know what you're earning, you know what you're spending. I think people that can't save will be in a position where they're just not looking at it. There's no oversight, and then you just can't save or grow anything.
So what do you think's the biggest mistake or flaw that people do while they're trying to save, or save for investing money, or even investing?
So like I said before, you just have no plan and no accountability to yourself about it. That you might say you want to save, but in 6 months' time you go and spend recklessly or something like that, and that's to each person's personal circumstances. But yeah, I think it's more you just got to have a plan. What do you think?
Same sort of thing. I guess, like you said, everyone's got different circumstances. Everyone's grown up in different households. Like me and you both grew up reasonably well, I guess, had access to education and all this sort of financial education and other forms of education, and had backings behind us. Whereas I see other people getting in large amounts of debts, having their credit cards and whatnot, but you can sort of understand where they get that from. They might not necessarily see a way to wealth as easy as what we do. Like, we can sort of build towards it, whereas these people, they might go and buy lotto tickets or gamble and that sort of stuff. That might be how they're seeing their only way out, their way to wealth, especially if they don't have the education and the backing of being able to go and study and, get a decent job and whatnot. So I think it's
I think
individual circumstances, but I see, people putting themselves in debt and gambling is the biggest flaw.
Yeah. And I've always been that if I've got a debt, I want to pay it off pretty quickly, like credit card pay off every month. And you see other people that they have a credit card bill and they'll take them 6 months to pay off, and then you're at sort of 20% interest, and that's why you can't save, because you're behind the 8 ball to begin with. So yeah, I agree. It's just mindsets and potentially how you're brought up or what sort of thing, and it's just habits.
There's huge companies that are playing on the psychology of people doing that, like Afterpay and credit cards for years before that and all that sort of gear. So probably a bit over the head of you and I. Like, I just can't understand people putting themselves in credit card debt and paying so much interest on these debts that they accrue. But again, it's personal circumstance, I think. All right, I won't take too much more of your time, mate. It was just a sort of a quick chat today, but just finally to finish us off, give us a few industries or areas that you think will increase, 5 to 10 years, because that's what my investing goal is, and I'm assuming your investing goal is. We're looking longer term, more passive. So yeah, give us the general areas, a few of them that you think will go up.
Yeah, definitely similar sort of 5-10 years plus with what I'm looking at. I think a few ones like definitely what we're seeing at the moment. I know you're very bullish on it, but cryptocurrency, I think, that's definitely going to pave the way in the future. And I think, with what I'm trying to build out longer term, that might only make up, maybe 6-7% of a portfolio for me, but still to have it in there as sort of a, a bit of a spec sort of investment. But I think there's a lot of growth in that. Like, you see sort of Bitcoin at the moment sort of growing quite a bit. And I think that's going to become a lot more commercial and sort of used, into the future, AI as well. So you think of sort of all, industries at the moment that are being disrupted, like, there's heaps at the moment. AI is playing a huge part with all of that.
Yeah, so that's one I haven't looked into AI whatsoever. It's sort of interesting, but I just don't know.
There's a lot of
enough to it.
Sort of, AI robotic sort of ETFs out there. So definitely keen to have a bit more of a look at them, just a bit more of diversification and hedge, I reckon. But yeah, I think, you look at industries being disrupted, AI is playing a huge part. So I think that's one, it's happening at the moment, but yeah, 5-10 year sort of cycle. And I think one we chat a lot about, probably text a lot about, is definitely the electric vehicle sort of an associated industry sort of space. Obviously, like Tesla's doing a lot at the moment, but I think, for me, that's run its course, or it might go a bit higher, but
I agree with that.
That one. But, you look at what are sort of industries around sort of, Tesla or electric vehicles. Sort of Apple might be coming out doing a car with, I think it was Kia or Hyundai, I can't remember, but it's going to be massive if they go ahead with that. So yeah, EV space. There's a lot of other sort of spec stocks as well, but I think it's what sort of decent companies that going to be profitable in the future, but leverage off that sort of space. What do you think?
Yeah. Again, same sort of thing. It's going to be hard with the with the EV space. I just don't know which one's going to come out on top. But yeah, I think buying the whole market's definitely a good idea. Apple's
it's just a hedge.
Yeah, hedge spec. It's funny you mentioned Apple. Like that's one I'm really interested in. I'm gonna have to look more into what they've only just released that they'll bring out an electric car, didn't they? Like a day or two
it
ago?
was news last week that they were going to do it partnering with. There's either Kia or Hyundai. I'm not sure if they're the same company.
Yeah.
But you think if they would do it, they're going to do it well.
Yeah, Apple do things pretty well.
It's
Funny their
you in
stock
Apple
price
at the moment?
a little bit. Like it's just weird their stock price. It's just stayed stable for most of the year. I mean, it's gone up a bit, but nothing to the likes of Google or even Facebook. It doesn't make much sense because I was following the earnings reports of all those big companies, big tech companies, pretty closely, and Apple smashed it out the sky. The only thing that did better was Skyworks, and that's not one of the big companies. But yeah, Apple killed it earnings wise, and the stocks went down over the week. So it's just sort of
Not sure. Like it's
confuses me a bit
now, but
very mature.
Share price at the moment?
About 130 off the top of my head. 130, 140. Maybe it's higher than that.
Going to go up in the future, but I'm not sure about sort of the news and what's happening with the earnings, but I think longer term, great stock to hold.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'll probably pump some more into that now in the EV space because I agree with that. The last two industries that we haven't touched on. So you've said three good ones. I'd probably chuck in gaming as we're both in on that one. I think the gaming's going to explode, and I also think tech as well. But tech sort of runs into a few of these other areas.
What are your thoughts on like ones that ESPO are holding in that ETF? Do you like them from a gaming point of view or?
Yeah, so I mean they've got Nvidia and AMD and Intel, so they're all chip companies basically and driver companies. So I mean they're not just in games, but they're very good stocks. Nvidia especially, that's one that I was really going to jump in on, and that'll be big on on every single PC's got an Nvidia a game card and that sort of stuff. But yeah, so I think that's about 13% Nvidia of ESPO's total holdings. But
Nvidia seems to be in most sort of all the quality sort of ETFs.
It's a great. They just do things so well compared to some other software companies and things. They're just very switched on. But then I guess you got like stuff like Blizzard. They've got all the big gaming companies: Blizzard, EA, Ubisoft.
Activision.
Yeah, Blizzard's Activision. Yeah, but yeah, all the things you'd expect that'll do well in the future. I think so. Yeah, good thing.
What are you looking at next to get into?
I don't know. I want to play around with crypto a bit more for the time being. I had something else on my watch list, but I can't remember. But yeah, I really want to focus on the crypto for the time being, and just sort of slowly. I might add some more to Apple as well. But yeah,
what crypto you're in? What?
I'm in Doge and Bitcoin.
Ethereum.
Yeah.
Ethereum?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, and just sort of
a pretty good run.
Yeah, Ethereum's good. I think it's just I don't know which one will get bigger, but that's the sort of space. And I might look into AI after you've mentioned it today as well. I might do a bit of reading on that. Yeah, but it's all fun and games pretty much. I'm having a good time. So yeah.
No, I think you're doing pretty well with how you've started, mate. So what are you up so far overall? Like percent-wise?
Exact percent-wise, I think just with NAB it's about 7%. It's looking pretty good. And then I suppose Spaceship, that's another one that I said I'll do another video on. That's probably 5 or 6%. Yeah, it's not nothing blown out of the books, but yeah, Doge has obviously made me 250%. So that was a nice little kicker.
It's been an outlier. What do you reckon about like the market this year and sort of, there's a lot of probably first time investors coming in. Like that's my only worry is them sort of exiting if there's a bit of a price drop and sort of the flow on effect. But yeah, I think longer term should be all right.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and everywhere you watch, it's people telling kids to hold their stocks and stuff. So hopefully, there's a bit of common sense with a lot of these people that are buying in that they will actually hold. Like I'm not going to pull out all my shit if it drops a little bit. I'm hearing, everyone's saying crash around April, crash mid-year, like all this sort of stuff. And it wouldn't take much, for these, newbie investors to sort of pull their money out. But I'm just hoping they sort of hold on.
Play the long game.
Play the long game. That's it. That's the main message from this video, this interview. We're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
All right, mate. No dramas. I'll let you get back to it. What are you doing for Valentine's Day?
Oh, nothing to say, mate. That little fella for a walk. I got the gift on Friday, so sorted all that out in the good books. But yeah, not much, mate.
Yeah, love that. I'm probably not doing a lot either. Just a dinner. Maybe go get some flowers or something. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Trying to live frugally.
Odd having it. A bit odd having it on a Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anyway, mate, good chatting. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
All good, mate.
All right. See you later.